I used to be famous. Not traffic-stopping movie star famous, newspaper famous. That's a lower bar. My column in the Chicago Tribune, Jake's Corner, used to be syndicated in 200 papers. Back in '98, I was nominated for a Pulitzer for my reports on corruption in the city council. But then the wheels came off. When the Trib was sold last year, the new owners cut me back to 2 columns a week at a fraction of what I had been making. I'm driving for Uber just to pay the rent on the tired ranch house I moved into last year when Tawny and I split. I had a deadline in 8 hours, and I didn't know what to write about. I had hoped one of my customers would inspire me, but I had to pick up my daughter. Her car was in the shop because she rear-ended an Evanston cop and picked up her 3rd DUI in 2 years. Girls never had much luck. She teaches journalism at Evanston Township to kids who have never read a newspaper. Inspiration is unlikely. When I pulled up to the corner of Dodge and Church, Charlotte was waiting for me next to a mountain of snow the plows had deposited after last week's blizzard. She was so not like her mother. By design. They were both blonde, but that's where the resemblance ended. Tawny was statuesque and fashion-savvy, and she had a disarmingly beautiful smile. Charlotte was built like me, not statuesque, and she also had my fashion sense, our prime objective being comfort. She didn't smile much. Her natural countenance resembled a scowl, which she called resting bitch face. And, of course, Tawny would have never been waiting for me. That would be a waste of her precious time. The Queen waits for no one. So, how's the world of high school journalism today? I asked as Charlotte slipped into the front seat. Resting bitch face transitioned into a full-blown scowl. For kids who grew up with Twitter and Snapchat, you'd think they'd be able to write a decent story in less than 300 words. She buckled her seatbelt and threw her bag in the back seat. Can you drop me off at the garage? My car's ready. Sure. Dexter Auto, right? I knew that. I was just stalling as I summoned the courage to ask the question I had to ask. How's rehab? I gripped the steering wheel a little tighter, anticipating an outburst. The court had sentenced Charlotte to a counseling program. She surprised me with her mild response. It's not rehab. It's more like an AA meeting with a driver safety theme. I've got 4 more weeks. She sighed. I wasn't driving drunk, Dad. I'd had a couple of drinks, and I glanced down to turn on the radio when that cop stopped me for no reason. I thought you'd given up the booze. I wasn't judging her. I love drinking. Giving up alcohol would be hard for me, probably impossible. That was the first drink I had in almost 2 years. She laughed bitterly. I was celebrating. Celebrating? She looked at me with an I've got a secret look. I was accepted at Stanford Law. I was so happy when I got the news, I bought a bottle of champagne. I had a couple glasses, then poured out the bottle. I knew I was being stupid. Stanford Law? That's fantastic. I didn't know you wanted to be a lawyer. I didn't tell anyone, not even Greg. It was a long shot. There aren't many 31-year-old first-year law students. What about Greg? She shrugged. After the DUI, he dumped me. I don't blame him. Greg, her erstwhile boyfriend, was a science teacher at the high school. They'd been going out for 2 years, but seemed to break up every other month. He'll be back, I said. She shook her head. Not this time. He, quote-unquote, met a more compatible partner on Tinder. She laughed. Tinder? It's a dating app. You should try it. Better than trolling the bars, especially at your age. I ignored the age jibe. I'm not ready to date. Are you okay? She gave me her tawny, are you crazy look. Okay, she got some things from her mother. You mean about Greg? Yeah, I'm cool. We weren't right for each other, and he would never move to Palo Alto. I agreed with that assessment, but I knew better than to say so because chances are next week they'd be back together.